My name's Rihanna, and I'm a Reiki Master Teacher. I've been studying Reiki Energy for about 6 years, and tonight I'm going to answer any questions you have. And at the end, I'm happy to give free mini Reiki sessions if you want to stick around for that. I'll ask that you write your questions on the note card because I might hit some of them up as we go. And if anybody needs to leave right at that time, I invite you to do so. I also ask at this time if you could just make sure your phones are like on airplane mode or vibrate so we don't get distracted. I'm already there. Thank you. All right, so I used to teach high school in the city. I was the creative writing chair at Milwaukee High School of the Arts for 14 years. And one of the biggest questions that I always asked every single year to all of my students was, imagine your best self. What would that look like? And I think subconsciously I was really asking that for me, and I'd write down all this great stuff and how I'd be. And little did I know, and never could I have ever imagined that I would be somebody that could do this work. I thought providing Reiki healing sessions would be really boring. I have a lot of energy. I love to teach. I am a teacher, but I've segued into this. And I feel that Reiki brings me my best self, and it leads me into my future. And I'm going to share a little bit about that with you tonight, and I'm so honored to do it. And so I say that because sometimes we're coming. We all try to change, right? We're like, oh, we should do this, we should do that, we should, well, maybe when I have more time or this or that. And at some level, we're stuck, okay? And we're too busy, or we don't make ourselves a priority, right? Oh, you're always last on the list, especially the busier we get in life. It's just the way it goes sometimes. And sometimes we self-sabotage and we don't think we can, or we put it off for someday, right? Someday I'll do that. Well, when I get the time, or I get the money, or this opens up, and this is all gotta... When is your somedays now? And sometimes we aren't truly joyous most of the time. Reiki has filled my life with such joy, the fact that I can provide these healing sessions for people and the clients that I give sessions to. So if you're not living in that state of peace and joy, and obviously life happens, we're not always permanently happy, but that inner certitude of truth where you're living from your heart, there's nothing better. And sometimes we try to change and we suffer from these other blocked energies that really keep us stuck. Okay? Because everything is energy. Our whole body, our whole being is energy. Everything. So I'm going to tell you how I got into Reiki, because when I first heard about this, I was on a girls' trip to Savannah. And I thought I had it all. The guy, the house, the career, the kids. And I was crazy, to be perfectly honest. I was super busy, super stressed. I just thought that's how life was. Vacation was when I could have my time here or there, and I had to go somewhere, and I had to, get nuts packing before I went, and then unpack and do. It was just how I lived. Mach 5 all the way through everything. And it's not how you have to live. And so, I'll bring you to Luke in a second. We can get unstuck because Reiki is a healer. It's a holistic modality that works on all levels simultaneously. Okay, it can get to the root of energies, and that means the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, and the spiritual body, which is also layers of our aura. Because often when we're sick, it's dis-ease coming in, and so in treatments, I treat the aura as well, because a lot of blocks come in here before it gets. The standard definition as a Reiki robot, so you know, is Reiki is a Japanese form of stress reduction and relaxation that also promotes healing. It's scientifically proven technique designed to unblock and redirect energy flow within the body. Aurora, right now, and in Burlington, they're bringing in Reiki practitioners. They're bringing them all over because it works. So this is my son. This is Luke. And this is how I heard about Reiki. I was on that girls' trip that I started to mention before, and I had heard about it. My cousin's like, I had a Reiki session. I was like, what's that? She's like, it's like a massage, but you don't get rubbed. And I was like, well, honey, you got ripped off. And then she's like, no, you'd really like it. And I was like, I don't get it. She's like, her hands got all warm, and I was like, it's weird. I'm not interested in it, okay? And then I met her. I met this woman. She started telling me about it. And in that moment, you know how you have those moments in your life where something shifts, but you don't know what's happening? I just felt this like little drummer. And I was like, and she started explaining it to me, and I was like, I wonder what life would be like that as a Reiki master. But of course I didn't imagine myself. I imagined some little old Japanese person doing Reiki. You know, I couldn't see me doing that. I was a high school teacher, whatever. And about a year later from that trip in Savannah, and I didn't really realize I was living a stressed out life, my son Luke swallowed a battery, and it was stuck in his esophagus here. I know, this always gets me when I tell this story. And this is his pre-surgery op, and this is his post. I went to Children's. I thought they gave me the x-rays that I saw, which I was going to put in there to show how the Reiki healed, but it wasn't on the CD. We were in there for about 5 days, worst probably 5 days of my life. We didn't know what was going to happen to him, if he'd need a pig's esophagus or a lot of future dilations and whatnot. The doctor looked at me. He had the green corroded battery in his hand in a Tupperware jar, and he shook it and he said, believe in God, start praying. And of course, as a mother, you know, I was brought to my knees, and that's exactly what I did. And about a week later, I just happened to run into an old colleague I used to work with, and she started telling me about Reiki, and I said, I heard about this a year ago. I'm taking a class. No more excuses. No more excuses. Now's the time. It didn't dawn on me to take him to a master teacher or somebody that, you know, is experienced with this energy. I just knew it was what I had to do. And little did I know I was stepping into my destiny. So for 6 months, we didn't know, and I just worked on Luke, and I didn't question it. And I think that's one of the reasons that makes me a good teacher about it, because I got my mind out of the way, and I opened up my heart, and I just trusted. And I had read a lot of stories about this stuff, working miracles or whatever. It's all sounded too big, good to true, but I had no resorts here. You know, this was my kid, and I just signed up for level 1, and I signed up for level 2. It was a day training in each, and I worked on them. And then that night I worked on me, and it felt good. People are like, what is Reiki? Well, I don't know, it feels good. I mean, I could tell you all what it is. That's what I'm going to do here today. But it's an experience. So the x-rays that showed the damage of this was narrow here, this was narrow here. It was burnt really, really thin. And then a pouch had developed that was irregular. 6 months later, they took another x-ray. He was fine to walk out of there. We haven't had any complications since. And so I was just a believer. And meanwhile, I felt how good it felt to work on me. And stuff started clearing up on me. And so I didn't think I would, you know, keep going with this, but that's how I was brought to it. And I was like, wow, if I wouldn't have seen this stuff myself, I would think it's hoo-ha, you know, or whatever. But I don't know, it's pretty amazing stuff. And we have access to it. Really, I tell my clients, you know, it aligns the mind, body, and spirit. It puts you back to center. It puts you back in balance. Some of the physical healing, I see people for all different things. Physically, everybody has some type of ailment, but these are just some ideas as to what it can work for. I took this from my Google page as a client that I'm working on currently, wrote that review. And so it's amazing. I never claim to have any results or any expectations, but there always is. In your body, everybody knows it has a natural ability to heal itself. Because it's non-invasive and because it's gentle, it can be used for so many things. Sunburns, burn victims. You know, you lightly and passively, like feathers, touch on and around the body, so there's nothing hurtful about it. I do hospital visits, and there's nothing more humbling to help somebody that's in pain with your bare hands. You know, it's just profound. What else does it do for you? Makes you feel relaxed, you know? You're like, oh. And reduces, scientifically proven to reduce blood pressure and your heart rate. When I was working at my grandma, when she had some surgery in the hospital, the nurse goes, I don't know what you're doing, but her blood pressure's going way down. The doctor came out. I took 3 days off of work. I used my sub days because it was grandma. And it was kind of a big surgery, and the doctor came in and he goes, she's covering, the surgery went amazing. She's recovering faster than everything. And so you can send Reiki too because it can transcend time and space. That's what science doesn't really understand. You know, they can get some of it, right, but we can't really get our head around how does energy work. Right? But basically you feel really recharged. It increases your supply of life force energy. If you're feeling run down, this is something really good for you, you know, and I think we all get run down at certain times. So, you know, I never tell my clients what they need. I tell them to ask themselves, like, you need it every month? You know, a lot of times I see people in transition. They come every 2 weeks, or they just really want to stay well. Or they know their peak seasons when they're super busy. You know, I always see the tax lady right at tax time, right? It also reduces the radiation side effects, and it decreases hospital visits. So, you know, you heal quicker. The body physically heals quicker with this. It's also for the highest good. You know, I mean, you can't make something happen that's not supposed to happen. It's just works. Because it's vibrational medicine and it goes to the root of the cause, it balances your entire energy system through the body's natural ability. And it can be used to reduce pain, increase recovery time. I've said all that. Mentally, what can it do for your mind? This is where most of America is, right? I used to say I was like water without a glass. I had so much energy, it used to get me in trouble. I was like all over the place, super scattered, doing 20 million things at once, and it wasn't really effective. I thought it was, but I was pretty run down. But you can definitely have more focus, and you know, I love these words, increase intuition. What's that? It's that little voice that whispers, you should come here tonight and listen to this talk. I don't know why am I sitting here on a beautiful summer night in June, you know, at 7 o'clock, right? It's that voice. Mine shouts to me, turn left, you know, like, because once you start tapping into your intuition and your inner knowing and your inner healing ability, because I'm really not doing anything, it's a Reiki that's working and unblocking your energy. It's amazing what you can do once you clear the mind. But nowadays, the mind is so gunked up with stuff that how do we do that? And Reiki may not be your modality, but it is one. You may use a couple different things, you know? Find something, even if it's not this, right? Because we all deserve to have a clear mind. Just a word on this. You know, everybody has a judge, jury, and executioner. The critic, the voice that whispers you can't, the fear that shouts, the mind that doesn't stop and holds you back. Everyone. We just don't say it. We put on that smile and say, hey neighbor, how you doing? Oh, good, yeah. But inside, there's that place, and it's dark. It can come out of the shadows, and it can leave. It improves your peace of mind. I mean, I'll have times where I have like no thought. Just, and then the guidance comes and the creativity comes. Hey, I should go do a library talk, or hey, you know, and then I get the direction, and it's just a great place to be. Less scattered, less irritable. This, oh, I was so like, you know, just crabby, little crabbies would sneak out here and there. Decreases reactive behavior, so you're not automatically like that dog barking at something, you know. You can be peace. You are peace, actually. There's nothing you have to be. You already are it. It's just you came into the world and this is our experience, right? And decreases negative thoughts. Everybody has them. It can be replaced with that lighter, sunnier side of things without the cynicism. And I was a huge cynic. I was a really tough cookie. I thought doing this type of stuff and living from the heart was weak because I was wounded. But I was strong, and I had to pull yourself up from the bootstrap mentality, and that's how it is, and you just move forward, and you deal with the stuff, and it's in the past. Well, let me tell you, it's not in the past. It's stored in your cells. And so energetically, you can recreate those same scenarios for yourself about every 5 to 7 years. And so you have the same energetic experience of loss, grief, rage, whatever, in different clothes. A lot of people don't know that. They just think that's the way life is. And so it's like you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you can tap into here. And I feel like I found the Holy Grail. You know, I'm so blessed to do this work. It's humbling. I never imagined it. It was the scariest thing I ever did, leaving MPS, single mom, but I trusted it. And here I am. A year and a half later, my company is growing. I have 2 locations, Hales Corners and Guantanamo, and people are seeing me because they're stressed out or they need help, and it's fun.